your wings, lock you up and make you sing, but they'll never cage your dreams, so fly away. 'Cause we've got tomorrow, we're the pages in the wind. We've got tomorrow, we're the tale that lies within. There's always another day, another night, a bittersweet blessing in disguise. Tomorrow, we're the author of our lives. Tomorrow, 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 oh, oh, oh. Tomorrow, tomorrow, oh, oh. Eyes open wide, daydream at night. My thoughts collide. Someday they'll see behind their screens me shining bright. They're gonna try to clip your wings, lock you up and make you sing, but they'll never cage your dreams, so fly away. 'Cause we've got tomorrow, we're the pages in the wind. We've got tomorrow, we're that tale that lies within. There's always another day, another night, a bittersweet blessing in disguise. Tomorrow, we're the authors of our lives. Tomorrow. And so I've been obsessed and searching success, been blinded by the light. Sometimes brighter, sometimes you are the flying towards the sky. Our soaring in love. 'Cause we've got tomorrow, we're the pages in the wind. We've got tomorrow, we're that tale that lies within. There's always another day, another night, a bittersweet blessing in disguise. Tomorrow, we're the authors of our lives. Tomorrow.
Hello everyone and welcome to another rendition of Zenfolio Live. My name is Kayla, and if you are just watching for the first time, let us know where you're from in the chat. If you've been here before, just say hi and let us know that you're back again. We love to hear from you guys. We're also interested to know what sort of fun photo related stuff you have going on in your life. So if you just got a new client or did a really awesome shoot, be sure to let us know because we love to hear about your photography ventures as well. So let's hear it. But just a quick announcement before we get started today. We are offering 40% off on MPIG's greeting cards right now. So today is actually the last day, but I really like to order these just for myself even and use them as thank you cards throughout the year. So maybe you can come up with another purpose for them or do the same thing. So if you think you can use that, why not get them while they're heavily discounted? So today we are actually going to be talking about where you can add custom content on your website. Specifically things like badges and other custom coded items. I've seen people use MailChimp and do like a email pop-up to get emails from people, just various things like that and where you can put those on your website. So first, I am going to be using a badge as an example today. But before we get started, I really want to make a point to say that Zenfolio customer support cannot help with coding. It's just not something we support because, you know, we're customer support people and photographers. The coding portion of things goes a little bit beyond our realm. But we can help you find the places to put that code. So if you do have any questions about placing that code somewhere, definitely let us know today. Because we want to help you as much as we can. But just bear that in mind as you watch today. So I'm going to switch over to my other view here. And let me get myself out of the way actually. There we go. So I've got a little badge in my site images folder here. And in the site images folder, it's just the very last one, my little fancy badge. But so I'm going to be using this as an example today. And I can actually get a direct link to this after uploading it to Zenfolio, and it'll give me the embed code right here. So all we need to do is go to Actions and then Share. And do note, if your photo page looks a little bit different than mine, you might be on an older version, but this should be in the sharing and client access if you're on the older photo page. Now I'm just going to go to get the embed code. And I uploaded this like a pretty small little badge, but you can change this image size down a little bit or up a little bit if you need to. For now, I'm just going to copy this HTML code. And it's important to make sure you do have the HTML code, not the BB code. We want to make sure we're doing everything in HTML here today. So I've got that copied, and I'm going to leave this window up, but I am going to open up my customized website view in a new tab, and we'll see where we can get started here. The very first place I want to go over is with your header and your footer. They're very, very similar. So let's see. I do not have a header showing here. I actually have the home page menu showing and my header is turned off. So I'm going to go into the client access section to find my header. And I should be able to see my footer on this page too, but we can double check. So this is actually my header, and my footer is down here, of course. So in order to embed this, I have my site header and site footer settings here on the left. When I click this, if I go to the Layout tab, it will ask me if I want to create a custom header, which is possible. Basically, when you create the custom header, it'll give you this little content section where you can actually paste in some coding. So if I click the little source button here, I can paste that in and click source again, and then you'll see my pretty badge here. Now with that code that Zenfolio gives you, you'll see that the height here is set to 400 and the width is also 400. I'm going to make that actually like way smaller because I want it to fit in my header pretty well without it being like super overwhelming. So if I do it a little bit smaller, you'll see it changes in size here too. So that's just one quick little tip. With this, I can make sure that my elements are still showing, like the header menu. I might need to custom code in a logo if I go this route, but just know that it is possible to kind of play around with this and get it looking nice. So I'm going to apply that and we'll take a look at what we got here. So it is cut off a little bit. From here, what I could do is go to the site header area and go to layout and change this to automatic instead of that custom size I had, or even just bump it up a little bit more so it's not getting cut off. When you do this, I believe it should just show the full thing. Nope, it really hates me today, so that's okay. Let's go with the 240 maximum. That should do the trick for us here. And you don't necessarily have to have it this big, depending on the size of the item you embed. But just to give you an idea of what can happen here. And again, you can also do your own logo in this custom one as well. So that would be how to do it in the header. Now your footer is going to be very, very similar. The footer is actually honestly where I would recommend putting it. I find that putting badges up in the very top just distracts from your menu items, which is what you really want the focus to be on, is like navigating your site. But I like to put it in the footer just to be like a little attention grabber down at the bottom. So if we do it in the footer, it's going to be very similar, except this time there's just a custom content section we'll need to set to show. And then it'll be the exact same thing. We'll just go in here and paste that in. Again, you can change the size if need be, which I am going to do. And then we can hit source again and apply it. And so now this one should be in the bottom left. You'll see that I left it left aligned this time. And this one is not transparent, so that's one thing to note. You'll probably want it to be the same color. But yes, so that would be how to do it in the header and the footer. Now from here, you can embed this on your home page as well. So let's go back to the home page. In the home page, there is a welcome message section that will allow you to embed this here as well. And it'll kind of depend on what layout you're using, exactly where that welcome message shows. For me with this layout, I believe it's going to show just underneath of this slideshow. So to do that, I will go to Options. I'll set my welcome message to show in the Page Elements tab, and then go to the Welcome Message tab. So I have like a little bit of text here, and I might just want to add that badge to the bottom of it. So I will paste that into the code underneath of everything else, and then hit source again. And again, may not want it that big, so let's change that. Let's go with 100 and where is my height? There we go, 100. So now it's going to be a little bit smaller, look a little bit nicer, and we can apply that. And again, your layout may be totally different from mine. Yours might be showing in the sidebar above the slideshow, but just for me, it is going to show at the bottom here. And it is going to save room for other elements on the left. I just have those turned off at this moment. So yes, and you can make this look you know, really nice and fancy. This is just the bare bones basics as far as I'm concerned. You know, normally I wouldn't like do something non-transparent here. I'd figure out a way to get that be transparent and like look really nice, but you get the idea. So the very, well, second to last place actually is the custom pages. If we go back into the dashboard, it is possible to save this on a custom page too. The custom page, for those of you who aren't aware, it's just a page that is completely blank, because you know you have your built-in pages with Zenfolio, but the custom pages are ones you just kind of create from scratch. So if I create a new one, I can call this like affiliates, for example, or you know, something like that to add badges to. And again, I'll just go into that source area, copy and paste that in, and change my height and width. In fact, I'm just going to copy that code going forward. So you can have like several badges going across here, just kind of saying like, you know, where you've been featured, or who you're partnered with in your community. With the MailChimp thing, you could even make a custom page that just says sign up for emails, you know, something that simple. And then you can save this. And once it's saved, we can test that out and take a look. You can add the custom page to your site menu. If I can actually get, we have Shanna with us today doing the moderating. If I can get Shanna to throw out a link on how to add a new site menu item, just for those who aren't aware on how to do that, you can add that custom page into your site menu. So I'll get her to throw out that tutorial just so we don't have to go over it here today. Now, the very, very last place that I want to show you guys how to do this is the blog. So if I go to website and blog, it is possible to put it in a blog post, but that's almost the exact same thing as the custom page, so I'll save you guys my tutorial on that. What I really want to show you today is the blog welcome and the sidebar. So you can actually just have this as like a permanent little item on your blog. Let me load it here. Okay, so if I wanted to add a blog welcome message, basically that will just show up at the very top of my blog here. So I would go to options where it had me before. First and foremost, I'm going to just double check that my blog welcome message is set to show, and then actually paste it into here. So we'll do that and apply it. And again, this is just going to show at the very, very top of your page. It's kind of an area where you can say like, hey, you know, thanks for checking out my blog, like contact me here, blah, blah, blah. So I've seen several people have like all of their affiliate links over the top of their blog, which is really cool. The other thing you can do is display it in your sidebar. So I don't have a sidebar on here currently, so let's take a look at that. If I go to layout, you'll see that I'm just using the summary centered layout currently. But there are ones that say sidebar on them. And the sidebar is just going to be like an area for navigating your blog a little bit easier. So I'm going to select the right sidebar layout and then add the badge into my sidebar. So whenever this loads, yep, you will see I have recent post here on the right now. If you keyword your blogs, which I have not, your keywords would show up here for quicker searching, and you would have an archive. So the archive is going to be just like, you know, okay, I posted one thing in January, I could click there to find the January post. Now below that though, you can add badges. So if I wanted to do that, I'd go back to options, go to the sidebar and do the exact same thing with that source code, just paste it in and click apply. And again, now I believe this should show underneath everything else there. Oh no, it wants to be at the top, but that's totally fine. So it will push down those other elements. So now we've got the badge literally pretty much everywhere it can be. We got it in the footer down here, in the header, in the welcome message on the blog, the welcome message on the home page, and your sidebar. So those are pretty much the basics for the various places you can put that. Now, I do just want to remind everyone one more time, Zenfolio cannot do any custom coding for you. While we will give you a code to use, we can't help you edit it, unfortunately. But do feel free to reach out if you need help with finding where to place that code, because I can go over anything like this again with you guys. All right, so now, to actually get into it today, we'll sit the badge stuff to the side. I want to get caught up on chat and see what we've got going on here. So let's take a look. So home phone says aloha, welcome, welcome. And yes, so just to introduce everyone to Shanna, she is actually going to be doing some moderating for us going forward. And today's her first day, so take it easy on her. Shanna is also part of the Zenfolio customer support team, so if you have any questions directly for her, feel free to throw those out in the chat, because we love her here and are very thankful for her help. All right, so Philip, is it Parisi, I guess? Let me know if I'm totally butchering that. He says he is interested in purchasing a subscription, is located in Plainfield, Vermont, and Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Street photography is the genre I shoot. That's really awesome, Philip. I'm really glad you're interested in joining Zenfolio. It's really nice to have you here, especially as a non-member. Some of the stuff we may go over today may not necessarily cover the basics always, but we do have a ton of really awesome tutorials that Shanna will be throwing links out to in our support guides. And we have a ton of other Zenfolio videos that cover everything from the basics to super advanced stuff. So be sure to check it out and let us know if you have any questions as we're going. We can go all the way back to basics if you need us to. All right. Well, I do have some email questions here. I guess I'll start going through those. And if you guys do have any questions, feel free to throw those out in the chat. It doesn't even have to be about the badges or anything like that. It can be totally off the wall random. All right. So this person says, I have a Miller's account and want to use them for selling. How do I go about that? One thing about using Miller's on Zenfolio is that you will need to have an advanced account with us, which is the highest level account, just because Miller's is a little bit more specialized. So we reserve that for people with the highest tier account. If you do have an advanced level account, but don't have Miller's hooked up yet, all we need is your Miller's account number. If you want to shoot that to us in an email, we will just verify it with Miller's and then add Miller's to your account. So if you've already gotten that far, you can add Miller's into your price list going forward. So in order to do that, let me move myself out of the way here. I'm going to go back to, let me just close this. We'll go back to the dashboard here. So I'm going to go to selling and then price list. And I'm just going to create a completely blank price list because I don't want anything else on this except Miller's products. So I might just call this Miller's 2018 or something along those lines. When it loads, I'll go to add products in the upper left corner. And the important thing to do here is going to be to set your vendors so that, yeah, I don't have Miller's on here, that's funny. But normally Miller's would be kind of toward the bottom here. You would just select Miller's Lab and be able to add that on. So funny enough, I do not have them set on this demo account yet, so I should probably do that. But you would just select them from the list, and then you can add Miller's products by going into the different categories, checking them off, and then adding them at the very bottom, which I think is getting cut off on my screen, but there's an add selected products button down here. And when I do that, I can then price everything, just basic price list stuff here, and then I would just save and assign it to the galleries I want to use it in. So apologies for not having the, I guess, Miller's stuff set up. That was a boo-boo on my end, so let's see what we've got here. All right, so Philip says that he has web knowledge and that our interface looks similar to WordPress. So I have heard that it is a little bit similar, but the cool thing here is that you would have integration with these labs just like I was showing. When an order is placed through Zenfolio, the order is sent directly to the lab after you approve it, and they'll do everything for you. So it's a little bit different from WordPress in that way. It was really geared toward making your life easier as a photographer. But it's very good that you do have that web knowledge. It should make getting started a lot easier for you for sure. All right. So let's see. We've got another email question. I'd like to see if I can make my Facebook icon bigger on my web page. So you can add custom logos and icons on a custom page, or your header and footer. Very similar to the badges that I had shown you earlier. You could just take like a little Facebook icon and put it in there and have it linked to a specific area with custom coding. So the built-in social media icons are just like at a set resolution though. Those can't really be blown up. But I actually do this on my own personal contact page. At the very bottom I have like some really big links just to really draw attention to them. And I've seen people do it in their headers too. So just as a quick reminder on how to do that, we'll go back into the customized website view here. Just open that up in a new tab. Man, it's syncing today. There we go. Okay. So from here, if I wanted to add something to, like, let's just say the welcome message, I again could just go into options, make sure my welcome message was set to show, and then you could just put like a little Facebook icon here. The coding in order to have that link to Facebook though, again, Zenfolio can't help with, but if you just Google like linking an image to a website, HTML coding, then you should be able to find what you need and just kind of plug in everything else. If you need a direct link to an image you've uploaded in Zenfolio, just go back to the beginning of this live stream. At the very, very beginning, I showed you how to get an embed code, but there are direct links above that too that can be used. So yeah, you can totally do this in pretty much any of these areas that I've already shown you, and you should be good to go. All right. So let's go back here. All right. And I think my handy dandy people working in the background here might have just enabled Miller's for me. So let me take a look at that real quick. I'm just going to refresh this price list I had going here just so I can show you guys what it would actually look like. Because there are some little distinctions about Miller's. It's kind of broken up into two labs, so I would like to show that to you guys if we can today. Okay, perfect. So let me go to add products now. Yay! Thank you, Zenfolio gods, for fixing that for me. So Miller's Wedding and Portrait is one of them, and Miller's School, Sports, and Events is the other. And they should show up in this area of your account, again, once you've taken those steps to actually have Miller's put into your account, which is what my friends at Zenfolio did for me just now. So just a quick note, the wedding and portrait stuff is kind of just geared towards like items for your home, prints, kind of the standard stuff you see with MPix and MPix Pro. And very, very similar products for the most part, but you will see some differences. The main thing I wanted to point out though is that with school, sports, and events, there are some specialty products in here that you won't see anywhere else, and those are things like the tumblers. For school and sports, they have like tickets, I don't know, all sorts of stuff, magazine covers, memory mates. So if you are a school and sports photographer, and events too, really, I would really recommend checking out Miller School and Sports, because they have a lot of the really neat products that kids are like in love with. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Now, so that said, let's take a look back at chat here. Let me get that up. All right. So Philip says, that is a major consideration when uploading images to galleries. I expect they are JPEG. What file type gets sent to the print houses? So with Zenfolio, you can actually upload whatever file type you need to for the most part. We accept TIFFs, PNGs, and GIF files as well. So you are more than welcome to upload those, but the file that does get sent to the lab will be a JPEG. So usually I just upload JPEGs, but you can also store your RAW files with this too. So occasionally I'll upload a PSD that I'm in the middle of working on or just want to hold on to. But RAW files do cost to actually store. So, but everything else is completely free and unlimited with your subscription. So I hope that answers your question, and let me know if you have any others, Philip. All right. So my next email question here, this one says, I'm interested in selling globally. Where should I start? So it's good we're already in a price list, because that's exactly where you start. You will need to create a single price list with multiple currencies in it. So what I will do here, there's actually a little currencies button here. And with that button, I can select multiple currencies. So I can say like, oh, I actually want to be selling in euros too. Like I have a customer who has a grandmother in Europe. Or if you are someone selling like landscape images and you just don't want to limit your audience, you can select all of these currencies and have stuff set up for people to order. So I will save this, and you'll see that I have the US dollars and the euros in my price list now. So in US dollars, let me go back and add just a few quick products. There we go. And so I'll just do the Miller School and Sports. And we'll just add 2 quick prints. So now if I go to euros and I click there, those are going to disappear. That is because Miller's actually only ships within the US and Canada, I believe. So that said, you know, when you switch over to euros, this is going to switch over to the labs that are going to accept euros. So if you go to add products now, it's going to show you some totally different vendors that you're probably not used to seeing. Now I'm going to see One Vision Imaging, Picto, and Zenfolio Europe. Zenfolio US will actually ship worldwide, so, and same with PhotoFloat, so that's why they still show up. But these 2 or 3 are actually specific to like selling globally as a whole. So that said, they will accept euros, and I can choose like One Vision here. Whew, my internet is struggling, guys. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. That one threw me right into greeting cards. But now I can offer prints in similar or the same exact sizes in euros as well, and these will ship in Europe. So I can do the 4x6 and the 5x7 and add those. And yeah, so when you switch over, you should have totally different labs available to you. Some might have some overlap, but for the most part, it's going to be different labs, and you can price them accordingly. So now when I price these, it'll be in euros. When I price these, it'll be in US dollars. So I hope that answers that question pretty well. All right. And we've still got Philip with us in chat here. So he said that did answer the question. Doesn't JPEG quality affect the finished print's look? Not necessarily. So when we send this TIFF over, if we send a TIFF over, it's going to be a huge, huge, huge file. For their purposes, we just want to send it over as quickly as possible to get it out to your clients. And even with these JPEGs, we're going to send them the original file that you upload. So you probably want to upload the best quality JPEG you have. If you upload something that's only going to be good enough for a 5x7, it will limit your customers' options when they actually go to order. So we're only going to allow your customers to choose items that are suitable for what is uploaded. So you might just want to like keep that in mind. But in general, what we send over as an order to our orders teams is going to look really, really nice as a finished product. And on that note, I think we did have an email question about getting sample files. Or sample prints. Let me see if I can find that question. Well, can't find it, but that's okay. Philip, I just want to tell you, it is possible to actually order sample prints through Zenfolio. If you just want to take a look at some different quality JPEGs printed on our 8x10s, you do get 5 free samples from MPix Pro, if you might be interested in using them as a lab. So I would recommend checking that out. I don't know if it'll show on my account here. I haven't ordered them through this demo account, so maybe it will. But if you go back into the photos section of your account, and this should show up while you're on a trial too, I'm pretty sure. You'll go into the photos section. You can select 5 images from any gallery to purchase. So I might go into like my weddings portfolio, for example. And then I will just select 5 here. We're thinking about it. There we go. So let's just say these first 5 are the ones I want to order. So I will select all 5 of those. And then I believe I'll go to actions and then buy products. So in this area, if you have not ordered those sample prints before, you can do that. And you would have the option to, it should be the very first option that shows here whenever it wants to load. Yep, okay, perfect. So MPix test prints, MPix Pro test prints, you can click on that and you'll see it is $0 for 5 free test prints. And it's just a one-time thing, but it's a good way to like see the quality of what your customers will be getting. When I did this, I was sure to do something with a lot of highlights, something with a lot of shadows, something with really bright color, and then just 2 that I just kind of liked a lot. You might consider uploading them in different, I guess, qualities as well. So maybe you do like a JPEG that you upload is just a little bit grainy and see how it turns out. Maybe one that's like the highest resolution JPEG you have. That would just be my recommendation, and kind of see like what you should be uploading for your customers. But generally you just want to upload the best quality you have so they can order at the largest size possible. So I hope that helps a little bit. And again, I think this is available at the trial. You may have to actually have an account first to do it, but I would definitely check it out either way, because it can be super helpful in getting an understanding of what your customers are going to be getting. And MPix, MPix Pro, and Miller's are all kind of like sister labs, so I think it would be a good idea just to try that out, even if you want to go with MPix instead. Alright. So Philip says, correct about TIFF. That's good to know, and I appreciate the answer. Is there a way to have a customer where they can choose various images and create their own photo book? Yes, that is possible. So in the price list, just to kind of back up and kind of explain the basics here, you would create a price list that has all of the options, I guess, for what you want to offer your customer. So that can be prints, photo books, cards, I mean, literally anything. And you can even make your own items as well if you don't want to offer something through our labs, or do something yourself like a CD of all the images from the shoot. So when I actually go in and create this, the photo books are an option. I can just add one on here real quick and kind of show you what that'll look like from the customer side of things. So I think, trying to remember, I know MPix has a ton of options, and so does Miller's. I'll go to the Miller's ones though, because I think they have the most under their wedding and portrait category. So maybe they have none. Let's go to MPix then. They have an albums and books category. We can click on that and you'll see there are tons of different kinds. There's the art cloth hardcover book in various sizes. We can do that. Then there's the custom hardcover book where you would put an actual image on the front. They have the panoramic ones. There's a premium one and a soft cover one. So you have several different options here, and they all kind of start at different price points. So I can add all of those into here and set my prices accordingly. With this, you can also choose the number of pages you want, 20, 30, 40, or 50. So let's just assume this is exactly what I want. I'm going to save and assign this to a gallery so we can take a look at it like the customer would see it. I'm going to get myself out of the way here. So when this comes up, let's just say that I want to do it for that weddings gallery here. Actually, I have a client gallery. Let's do it on Valerie's. So I'll save that and go into the photo section and kind of preview what that's going to look like for a customer. So I'm going to open up the gallery down here and I'll go to preview at the top of the page. Now, one quick thing to note, when you are looking at this in the customer view, you will get a note when you go to purchase about using base lab prices, which is basically the wholesale price, or purchasing like a customer would. So if I just go to buy and do like buy all 24, I will see this message. You can do both just for testing, but if you're wanting to actually see the visitor prices, I would use the visitor prices. So when this loads, it should take us into the shopping cart area, and we're going to see only the photo book category at this time, just because I didn't have anything else on that price list. But if you did have some other options, they'd be able to choose what category they went into. And from here, they can kind of narrow down like, okay, I'd like to see the 8x8 photo books only. And it'll kind of give them the options for their theme that they would like to use. There are several available here. For me, I just kind of like the simple white square one a lot. It's very, very simple. So let's choose that one. And when this loads, I can choose now whether I want the custom hardcover book, the art cloth, premium panoramic, or softcover. I'm just going to leave it on the custom hardcover at this size. I can choose my paper type and the pages as well. So we'll just go with 20. And now I will say add photos. When this comes up, it's basically just going to be a drag and drop method as far as the photos go. But you can choose different layouts, different page options. Some of them have text and some don't. Again, this is a very, very simple, just clean, plain sort of book. But they do have some prettier themes if you're more interested in that. But so this is the back and front cover specifically. Can't really see it down here too well, but down here it kind of shows me all of the different pages. If I wanted to change the layout, I can click this and do, like maybe I want 2 images on the back instead of just 1. I can do like a big wraparound image, things like that. And I can change this text as well. And then when I actually get into like the heart of the book, it's going to be like a lay flat thing. So I can see what's going to be on page 2 on the left and then page 3 on the right. So like obviously I don't really want this random photo of a tree. So I could adjust this photo a little bit if I wanted to. I think this is a horizontal, but let's just say I wanted just this one. I could like zoom up and kind of do that. Play around with the different like sizes and everything. You can even zoom out so far that it just becomes a horizontal on the page instead of a vertical. So the options are kind of endless there as far as what you want to do. And again, you do have that option to change the layout here as well. There are a ton of different page layouts. So it's pretty straightforward, I think. The only thing that I really want to point out here is that it is possible to save this or add it to the cart. But when you click save, it is not actually just going to save it. It's a little bit weird. You do actually have to add it to your cart to hold on to it. So I'm going to add it to the cart. We're just going to print this crazy book I just made. And now it'll just say the price, exactly what they ordered. They can go to the cart to check out. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit, Philip. I hope that's interesting to you. I personally have not had any problems with it. Most of my customers are just good to go with it. So that would be what I would check out. All right. Shanna is sharing some awesome links in the chat right now, so I would check that out if you have a moment. We do have another photo album service as well. If the customer doesn't actually want to purchase their own book, like kind of making it themselves, we do have a team of designers who will make it for them. And with this, it is a little bit different. It's not something you would add to a price list. It's just a service you would offer throughout your account. So be sure to check out that link that Shanna sent to, because I think that'll be a great addition as well. All right, let's see what else we've got here. So another email question. This user says, where do I find the link to send my clients to their gallery via email? So there are actually a couple of places that you can do this. The best place, in my opinion, let's go back to the dashboard. I'll just go to all photos. So in the photographs section of your website, you can choose to go into a gallery. Like, let's say I wanted to invite Valerie and her family to view this. There is a email gallery button up here at the top. And when you click that, you can schedule this post to go out. Like, let's say you just finished uploading these images at 3 o'clock in the morning. You probably don't want to send that email right at that particular moment. So you can schedule it to go out at a more normal time of day the next morning, and just save it as a draft and send whenever you need to. And you can just plug in her email address, her family's email addresses, and kind of type up your own custom message here. And you can't really see it. Let me get myself out of the way. There is a continue to preview button here that will light up after you enter an email address. That is definitely the easiest way to do it. There are some other ways, but honestly, this is what I would recommend just for easiness sake. All right. So Philip is back with us. He said, that is fantastic. That is one feature I couldn't figure out from looking at your site as a non-subscriber. I'm sold now. We'll be subscribing when I get back from Paris next month. That's awesome that you're traveling right now and taking the time to be with us today, Philip, so thanks so much. And if you do have any other questions before sign up, our support team is super duper awesome. You can feel free to email us at support@zenfolio.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. All right, so let's see what else we've got here. So this email question says, how do I get a gallery link to a client? Same exact question as before. Literally the best way to do that is just through email. In my opinion, there are some other ways. You can make like a friendly link, do client access, but literally the easiest thing you can do is just send them that email invite. If you don't have their email, which I know is sometimes the case, I can tell you more about the client access feature. So with this, you would basically create a gallery ID. And to do that in the new photo page, we would go to Actions, and then I believe it's Share. Yep. So the gallery ID on this gallery is Valerie and Family. So I will copy that real quick. Now if I go to my website, I'm just going to go to my home page here. I think I have a client access link available. Yes, so if I click on client access, it's going to ask me for that gallery ID. So as a client, you could just provide them with that ID. They would just come to your site and type that in and be taken directly to their gallery. But, you know, emailing them is really simple as well. So either of these methods can work. It just depends on what you want to do mostly. For me personally, I do both of these things. I will send them the link to their email just to hold on to, and so that they have a written record of what their gallery ID is and have that direct link. And then even if they lose that link in the future, they'll just remember like, oh yeah, Valerie and Family, and just be able to come back and find that pretty easily. All right. So we got another question here. So this user says, I'm having a hard time customizing my gallery to my liking. I'm wanting more space between the images than just a couple pixels. I couldn't find where to change this. Help. So we would kind of need to see exactly what you were seeing in order to really help here. But just to give you guys an idea, you can change the spacing in between your gallery photos. So if I go to preview here, I can actually go to the customize area from the next page. So I'll hover over this edit button up here, and we'll just go to page options. And so this will take me into Customize View, directly looking at the options for the page, which is exactly where I need to be to change this. So when this comes up, I will actually need to be on the Grid Options tab, and this inner cell padding and space in between cells. That's what you're going to want to look at and add to. So if you're looking for like some pretty big spacing, you could do something like maybe 50 pixels to start. You can go all the way up to 100 though. You can also change the margin around the grid too if that's important to you. But for now I'm just going to leave the spacing at 50 and 50. And when I pull this up now, I'm going to actually preview it so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. So it actually adds a little bit of a border around, and this just kind of has to do with your theme for the most part. You can get rid of that and just have more spacing if you want, and you don't really want these like frames around it. So this would be what I would check out, is just that grid option section to space them out a little bit more to your liking. And I'm going to go back to the dashboard now. Back. Okay, we do have another email question here. So this user says, how do I know what keywords to use for people to find my fine art photographs? So keywording can be a little bit tricky, honestly. It's something I struggle with sometimes. For the most part, with like if you're shooting portraits, you know, you don't really want to make your galleries available to everyone, especially if they're password protected and they're not going to be able to get into it anyway. But with fine art, photography, and landscape photography, things that anyone would want to purchase a photo of, doing keywords for me, I tend to add things like the location is especially important. So I think I have a landscapes gallery here I can show you guys. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so this Ferris wheel image, for example. This one was taken at the State Fair in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I would probably just keyword it with exactly that, because the State Fair is a big deal in the South. People who are just performing Google searches, you kind of have to think like they would. If they're like, you know, I just love the State Fair, I want a picture of something from the State Fair in my living room. So you might just want to search like State Fair, Raleigh, North Carolina, Ferris wheel. Those are going to be the three big things they're typing in. Beyond that, you could say something about the mood of the photo, the colors that are in it. Maybe this person only wants like a black and white Ferris wheel image. They don't want any color, you know, it could be something that crazy. I would just keyword it literally down to the fine details as much as possible. And the more keywords you have, the better, honestly. I would just say go crazy with it. Come up with as many as you possibly can. But things down to like the color, the mood, the lighting, the framing, literally anything is going to be helpful. So I hope that kind of helps. I know it can be a very tricky thing, but with this new photo page, we try to make it easy for you, I guess. If I go to the Details tab, the keywords section is going to be right here, but you can also just do it by category. Move myself out of the way here. So with the category, I can also do it, narrow it down a little bit further. So I've got like travel and places as one of them. And then I could say, you know, this is in North America, you know, just like all the various different things here. You can kind of go through those to come up with additional keywords as well. So that would be my recommendation. I hope that helps a little bit. We've got another question here. So this person says, I'm wondering why in the contact fields for the submission forms our contact information is listed. So this is actually a really good question. We do get this a lot. So let me go to my home page here just to show you guys what this person's referring to. So I'm logged in as the owner of Flawless Focus Photography, this demo account. And when I go to the contact section, there will be contact information in here, a fake Gmail and my full name, quote unquote. With this, It's important to note that the customer is not going to see this. You are just seeing it because you are logged in, essentially. So if the customer is logged into their own account, their own details will show there. If the customer is not logged in at all, it will just remain blank and say something like, please enter your email, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, if you're seeing that, it's just because you're logged in, and you can feel free to test that just to be sure of that. All right. Next question. How do I change the cover thumbnail on a video? Is it different from a photo? It is actually kind of similar to the photos, but a little bit different. That's going to be back in the photos section of your account. And I don't know if I have a video in here, actually. I probably should have that. But anyway, when you go to an actual image, like let's say I'm in this gallery. If you hover over an image, the way you would normally do the image thumbnail for the gallery would be to click this little down arrow and do select as cover photo. With videos, it's going to be the exact same thing, except it'll say something about select a cover thumbnail or change video thumbnail, something like that. And you can do that in the exact same area. I think you may need to choose the photo and then go to actions even and do it there too. Either way, same exact thing. So I hope that helps a little bit. All right. Let's see. How do I remove social media sharing from my client view? So this is a really good question. I personally do not like people sharing my images, which seems kind of counterintuitive. But for me, it's like sometimes I don't edit photos before I put them up, and I don't necessarily want my client to be sharing those unedited images all around the universe. So in order to prevent people from doing that, you can turn off the share options. So let's say I want to do it in this gallery. I'll go to the preview and get us in customized view here so we can take a look. So I'll go to edit at the top and we'll just go to the page. All right. So when this loads, there would normally be a share button here as well, but I think I actually have it turned off already. But just to show you where that setting is, it's in the options at the top and on the page elements tab. So you can turn the share button to hide here. The other thing you'll want to do, you'll see that when I'm hovering over these, there's like a little heart icon, the sequence number. It is possible that you might have, I guess, little share buttons there too. It won't share the individual image, I should be clear, but it will share a link to the gallery, even though it is on the individual images. But to disable that, which I have disabled currently, you'll want to go to the thumbnails tab, and the social icons, you'll want to make sure they are completely unchecked. And that should disable all sharing from your site, or at least this gallery. You can save that as the default to make it the default for all galleries going forward. And it is important to note, the only thing I would, I guess, pay attention to is that they can still just take their link and share it on Facebook. If you really don't want them to do that, I would encourage you to just tell them that. Plain and simple, it's just like, let them know that you don't want sharing to happen, especially if the images are unedited or something along those lines. Just let them know that, like, while they are their images to, you know, share eventually, you kind of want to wait until you have the edited images or something like that. I personally have never had a problem with that before. Usually people are pretty nice about it. All right. Let's see what else we've got here. Shayna is still sharing some very awesome links in the chat, so you guys should totally check those out if you are viewing, even after the live stream today. Because those will be super, super helpful in helping with everything I'm talking about here, if you just prefer to read rather than listen to me. So, what else have we got? This person says, I want to offer a print credit to my customers. Is there a way that I can offer a $100 credit to them that is $100 of prints from a price list I create, but only cost me base prices? So, yes, a print credit would need to be done with a gift certificate. So let's go back to the dashboard and I can show you where to create one of those. It's going to be in the selling portion of your account at the top here. There we go. And if I just go to main, it'll take me to the main selling page, and gift certificates is in the bottom right. So I can just go to new. So here, I could just make this for any sort of amount that you want. In this example, I think it was 100. And you'll just need to set the currency and come up with a code. You'll provide that code to your customer and they'll be able to use it at checkout. The only thing is that you can't narrow it down to just prints is the only thing. A coupon could do this, but we usually recommend if someone is giving you funds, you want to do it as a gift certificate so that if they don't use all of those funds, they can do it on another order at another time. A coupon is just going to be like a one-time use sort of thing. So the gift certificate is going to be the preferred method, but if you do want to narrow it down to prints, a coupon can do that if you want to check that out. And the cost of goods for this order would just be the base prices charged to your account. So the customer, it would look completely free to them essentially, and they would just enter this code at checkout and they would be good to go. Alright guys, we have maybe about 5 to 10-ish minutes left, so definitely throw out any questions you have if you're just watching today. It can literally be anything. I'm happy to answer. Alright, so this person says, I'm looking into getting started with selling prints. I would like to see the quality first. There's that question. So this is the question about getting the test prints. So I went over this a little bit earlier if you're just now tuning in. If you want to go back and learn more about how to get free test prints, it is a one-time deal. Just kind of rewind in the video and you'll see it a little bit farther back. Alright, so next question says, we just set up our first event this last weekend. The images are self-fulfilled, but it isn't having people pay for them. How do we get them to pay when they are checking out? So once you set up the self-fulfilled products in your price list and have it assigned, there is one more step, and that is actually going to be in the settings of your account. We'll go to settings, and then you'll want to go to selling, and there is an area here called collecting payments. And with this collecting payments area, you can have them pay through PayPal. And you can also set up a merchant account through PayPal Payments Pro, or I think the other one is authorized.net. It is important to note that the merchant account, I believe, is in the US and Canada and Australia only. So definitely would recommend checking out the merchant account first though, because it allows them to not have to leave your website in order to check out, where PayPal will reroute them to PayPal to actually pay you. But I do hope that answers the question there. Alright. Let's see what else we've got here. I need some water, guys. Ooh. Struggling today. Alright. So this person says, can I upload videos here to be downloaded from the client? Or is it just for photo delivery? It is possible to upload videos, absolutely. So we convert them into a streamable video format, and then you can allow your visitors to download them for free from your gallery, or they can pay for them too. In order to pay for them, there is in the selling section, you can set up a digital product right here. And there's going to be like a video option and a photo option. So you'll want to make sure you're doing the video option, of course, and that you just add that to your price list and they would be able to check out and pay for it. Now, the free option is a little bit more complicated. So let's go to the photo section here. I wish I had a video in here. I really need to upload one. But let's say that there is a video in this gallery. I would need to go to the preview area and then go into customize view. So when this comes up, I'll go to edit and then page options. Now, since I don't have a video in here, I won't actually see the option, but just to give you an idea, on the page elements tab, if you do have a, actually it does still show up. If you do have a video, it will give you the option to make the largest allowed sizes downloadable. So any video in this gallery will then become downloadable. And it's pretty straightforward. You know, they just see the video, click it, and they'll have the option to download it. And again, it will be at a smaller size, not the original size. All right, I think we have time for at least one more question here. So this user says, how do I offer free shipping for orders above a certain amount for a particular gallery? So I've run into this too, where occasionally I just want to offer free shipping on something like just very simple as a courtesy to a client. So to do this, you'll want to go to the selling portion of your account, and we can actually just create a coupon. If I go to coupons and then new, I can limit what gallery it can be used in, what type of product, the order minimum, things like that. So let's take a look. All right. So down here in the discount shipping area, I can check that off and just make it completely free. I can just do 100% of the shipping. The other thing though is that if they then choose overnight shipping, that's going to be free too, and that might cost $100. You never know. So I tend to just make it an amount for whatever free or the standard shipping costs, which I know through MPix is $4.25. So I can do that there. I can limit it to the gallery it can be used on by selecting a gallery. Like let's say that I just want Valerie and her family to be able to use this coupon. And then at the very bottom, I think you can see it here, just barely, you can add an order minimum to this as well. So maybe they have to spend $50 before they actually get to use that. And from there you would just save it and give the customer the coupon code, and that would do it. All right. Well, thank you very much, Philip, for joining us today. And DJ, it's nice to see you here too. And yeah, so those links will be available after the live stream. The chat will kind of be like going on the right even when you view it afterwards, so you should be able to see it just fine. And even if you are looking for something else in the support guide, it is available to you in your account. If you go to your dashboard at the very bottom, there's going to be a support link. And from there you can search anything in our support center that you have questions about. But it's been really nice hanging out with you guys today. If you do have any further questions, please leave a comment or reach out to our support team at support@zenfolio.com. That's it for me today. I hope you guys have a great weekend and hope you take care.